Hey, everybody, welcome to Tri Tips Live. This is the 2022 Ironman World Championship edition. And it says I hope we're live. Click there, see what's going on. Oh, that's not working right. Kill that. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I'm just got to get this thing set up and going here to make sure if I'm live, if you can hear me and everybody's live and taking a look, go ahead and drop me a comment in the comments section. Let me know everything sounds good, looks good, all that kind of good stuff. I see there's a couple of people on board, so you're out there. So give me a shout out and let me know you're there. And hey, Hojo, how's it going? Out of South Carolina, guys. We want to welcome you on board. Like I say, this is Tri Tips Live 2022 Kona World Championship edition, and it's 1 week early. What do I mean? Hey, what happened is this week we have an unexpected visitor here in Florida. These unexpected visitors come every once in a while, and they're not nice. They're horrible, horrible, horrible visitors. And this particular visitor is going to be very, very close to my home. His name is Ian, Ian or Ivan, whatever it is. It's a hurricane. It's a pretty bad hurricane. It's going to be crushing its way up through the Gulf. I wanted to make sure I got this broadcast in before that happened because I just don't know what's going to be going on next week. Hopefully, it'll skirt out in the Gulf and miss us completely, but we don't know. So that's what's going on there. I want to thank our sponsors, Longevity Wellness Center, the supplement store for Longevity Wellness is coming along fine. I happen to have met with the owner of the company, and they have all their pictures were taken this week, and all of the store is really coming together. Hopefully by the mid next month, we will see that store online where you can get your supplements for just about anything you want online right there from Longevity Wellness. But we have 2 extra sponsors coming on board for this particular edition, SaltStick.com and BonkBreaker.com. These 2 companies have come on board to help us with a giveaway that's going to happen with this with the live stream. So what's that going to be about? We're going to talk about that in just a minute. Injury updates. Some of you guys know that I have been fighting an injury. Normally this is our 70.3 Ironman Florida 70.3 lead-in edition where we're talking over 70.3 stuff from now until the race. I'm struggling. I don't know if I'm going to enter yet or not. I'm getting closer. I actually did my first actual run today. Ran a 5K, slow and easy. Never thought I'd ever run a 39-minute 5K in my life, but I did today, and it was fine. Feet are doing great. Getting very, very optimistic about that race and the GFT that's going to be in about a month from now. Nice warm-up race there. So that's my injury update. That's my race update. I want to thank you all for coming on board. And so here we go. Hey, it's time for me to go out on a limb. Yep, I'm going out on a limb with I'm going out on a limb with the 2022 Ironman World Championship top 5 guessing game or prediction stream. And but I want to bring you some really good information, and I want to tell you guys about a contest that ends when the first on the women's side. It ends when the first woman starts. I should say it's going to end when the first woman starts, and the contest is going to end when the first man starts the race. And what it is I want to see in the comments below. I want to see your predictions for the top 5. Now, what's going to happen is if you hit the top 5, SaltStick has come on board, and they're going to supply you with 2 bottles of SaltStick Chews. They're about $15 a bottle, so it's a nice $30 reward for picking the top 5 in order. And if you get the top 5 in both men's and women's, Bonk Breaker is throwing in a full box of a bonk breaker product, whether to choose or the bonk bars. These things are great. I love them to death. I'm glad to see the company back. So we got those going on, and that's going to be really, really something great. So if you're ready to put your predictions up on the, out there for the championship for the men's and for the women's, we got an award for you. I want to let you know, number one, how this is going to work is you're going to have to put your picks in there with your email. You will be added to my email list, and you'll be able to unsubscribe or get off of that list. First email you get if you truly want to. Now, with that, the only place that will be getting that email is me. It won't go anywhere else. And we want to thank you guys for participating in our little contest. So, what we're going to do is how we're going to cover this, and what we're going to is how we're going to cover the athletes that are involved in this is I looked at the PTO World Championship rankings and the athletes who are participating in Kona. We are going to cover each one of the athletes that is in the race, that is in the top 10, and some wild cards. Now, I got to throw the wild cards in because there is some athletes who are not in the top 10 who are specialists at long course, who are at the race, who are going to quite possibly be a factor in the race. So here we go. We're going to jump on board and take a look at our first athlete. Our first athlete is the number 6 ranked athlete in the PTO. This is Kat Matthews. She's a British military officer whose job is to race triathlon to help promote the British military. She's an Uber biker, guys. This girl is a very, very strong cyclist, and you've got to be a strong cyclist to really make it happen on Kona. And her run is getting better and better, and she's a hang on for this in the swim. So our number 1 person that we're going to put in, we're sliding them in, and what you're going to see is I'm going to happen here is I'm dropping the athlete up in the corner of your screen. The top athlete will be the athlete and that point, which is a number 1, and all the way down through the top 5. And in the end, you'll see my top 5 picks right there. Our second person that we have on board for this is Laura Philipp. Laura Philipp is our next athlete. She is ranked number 5 in the world in the PTO rankings. Again, she's a hang-oner in a swim, mid-packer. Really, really strong cyclist, can match up with just about anybody in the women's field in cycling, including Kat Matthews and Daniela Rafe. She will be right there with them if she can hang on and get out of the water with them to head out on the bike. Now, as a runner, again, she's a very strong runner. She can be a factor in this race. We'll see. This one's a who knows in this. We'll just take a look. We're going to drop her in. I don't think she's going to cross the line ahead of Kat Matthews. So right now, our number 1 is Kat Matthews. Our number 2 is Laura Philipp. We jump up by a bunch of athletes who are not going to be there, who are WTC racers, World Championship racers. We jump up into our next long course person, and this is one of the big 2. Ranked number 4 in the world is Lucy Charles-Barclay. And all of us know that Lucy's had a problem this year. Lucy has had a stress fracture to her hip. I watched really closely everything that she did to get that stress fracture fixed. But what she did, and this is really critical, and as she was learning, or as she was rehabbing from her injury, she was learning that she was running with very poor form, not horribly bad form like mine, but bad enough form that it was hindering her in a race and causing injury. Working with the Red Bull, her sponsor, working with their staff, she was able to put together a plan to rehab, strengthen, and get all the little muscles that she wasn't using strong and make her run that much better. Her run was her weak point. Guys, that's getting better. They're giving her 93% on the run. I'm going to give her more in the neighborhood of 95, 96, but we do know that a 97 on the swim is definitely not her number. She should be ranked 100 on the swim. Lucy Charles-Barclay will come out of the water either first or second, come out of the water, hit the bike, head out on the bike, another Uber biker who can bike with the best of them. They will be chasing her all day long. I actually don't expect to see somebody catch her except when they hit the run. There's a possibility of catching her because we don't know the physical condition that she's in. We do know that Lucy Charles-Barclay has been second place and Kona for the past 3 races there. She wasn't able to race at St. George, but she's back. She's back strong. She came out with 2 wins right off the bat to show that Lucy Charles-Barclay is back and will be right there. She will be a contender. She will be. I'm going to say if everything goes the way it should, um, Lucy Charles, she should pop herself right back in there into the top 2, top 1. It all depends on how the race goes out. That's why we race. Lucy Charles-Barclay, she drops into the number 1 slot, knocking Kat Matthews to 2, Laura Philipp to number 3. Now, our next contender we have coming up, and as you can see, we're working our way up through the rankings of the PTO, is Annie Haug. Annie is an Uber runner. She is by far the fastest person in the field. She is going to run down a lot of the field because she's going to come out at the back of the main pack swimming. She'll be several minutes down, if not 5 or 6 minutes down to Lucy Charles-Barclay, and have to catch up from that point on. She's not as strong a cyclist as Lucy Charles-Barclay, not as strong as matter of fact, she's not as strong a cyclist as anybody who's on our list yet. But we're going to see Annie Haug run her way back up through that field. Can at 39 she pull it off? Again, she's the only person in the recent history who has won on the Big Island, except for Daniela Rafe. We'll have to see how she ranks. But for me, I'm going to say at 39 years old, I've watched her race this year. Annie, I'm not seeing you come in ahead of Kat, or definitely not ahead of Lucy Charles-Barclay if she has a good race. So right now, Lucy Charles, Kat Matthews, and Annie Haug are our top 3, with Laura Philipp dropping into the number 4 spot. Okay, so we got the elephant in the room, guys. Here she is, the GOAT, number 1, Daniela Rafe. She will be at the front of the pack on the swim. She will not be swimming with Lucy Charles-Barclay coming out of the water, but she will be at the pointy end of the female pro finishers on the swim. Her transitions are flawless. She is by far the best cyclist out there in the field. The only person that could possibly hold her off would be Lucy Charles-Barclay because of her big lead in the swim. 4 or 5 minutes ahead of 3 or 4 minutes ahead of, I should say 3 or 4 minutes ahead of Daniela Rafe on the swim. Is that going to be enough? If Daniela Rafe is on, she is untouchable. I did print out the sheets. She's got more number 1s on here than you can imagine. Collins Cup number 1, Ironman Switzerland number 1, St. George number 1 at Ironman Switzerland, number 1 at Switzerland 70.3, number 1 at Tulsa, number 1 at St. George 70.3, number 1 at Dubai, back to Hawaii. The only flaw in her whole resume that I see here is the 13th place at Hawaii when she was sick, and the 11th place at the World Championship 70.3 World Championships, where she was also not up to par. Daniela Rafe is going to come in here, and she's knocking Lucy Charles off the top. And that's where we're looking right now. Our top 5 of the 10 people who are ranked at the PTO are as follows: Daniela Rafe, Lucy Charles-Barclay, Kat Matthews, Annie Haug, and Laura Philipp. But wait, there's more. We're going to throw a couple of wild cards in the mix for you. I've been keeping an eye on this lady right here, Heather Jackson. Heather Jackson has been putting together an amazing program. She is fit. She is strong. She has done a cross training. She's gone into gravel racing. She has really worked the areas that she's needed to work to give herself a chance, a shot at getting into that top 5. Heather Jackson, ranked number 21, she's going to come out way back on the swim and have to rely on her strong bike and her good run to get herself up to contend with that top 5 range. Will she pop into the top 3? If she has an amazing race, she could pull off a 3rd place. But I'm going to put her right now, knocking off and heading just ahead of Laura Philipp, holding down the number 5 spot. But wait, there's still more. And that is the fact that the next competitor has, as true to her word, has come back and has just dominated in the races that she has come back in the last, since she came back from 3 years without racing. Many hard finishes in earlier races because of nutrition issues and heat issues. She's worked her way back. She's got herself healthy. She's got a little baby that she's racing for. Uh, Again, I've watched her come back. I didn't expect her to come back as strong as she really has. She has won the two races that she has been in that really mean something: Ironman Lake Placid and Ironman 70.3 Eagleman. She won both of those. She's on course to have her best finish, possibly her best finish out of the year in Ironman racing. She did, looking at Ironman Lake Placid, she did drop in at a 9-minute flat or 9-hour flat race, but that is a very hilly, slow course. She's done 8:43 in the past. She's going 8:43 at Hawaii. That's strong enough that I'm going to drop her in, Sarah True, in at the number 5 spot. So here's my take on the women's race. It's Daniela Rafe's race to lose. If she has a Daniela Rafe race, no one is going to touch her. Lucy Charles, in as amazing shape as she is in, and as young as she is, she's still a quarter step behind Daniela Rafe. Daniela is not what she used to be, but she is still the GOAT. She is the greatest of all time. She may not have the Paul Newby Fraser numbers of wins, but nobody has been as fast on the Big Island, and nobody has dominated the Big Island as hard and as good as Daniela Rafe. Number 2, Lucy Charles-Barclay. It's her race to win. Now, her training, she has trained in the heat. She's been on, I believe she's been on Lanzarote. Then she did Texas. She did the race a couple of weeks ago in Texas. She showed very well in that race. She had technical issues, is the only reason that she ended up 3rd in that race, as she was leading the race. The technical issues came. She dropped the bottle. She had to take a little time to as she went through transitions to get the right nutrition, that type of thing. But I'll tell you what, if there's any one person who can give Daniela Rafe a run for her money, that's going to be Lucy Charles-Barclay. We saw Kat Matthews in St. George, her breakout, taking on St. George and just beating it. She biked with Daniela Rafe most of the ride. The two of them really put the moves on the field and left Kat in a position where she was able to stay right up there at the front of the race. If you hear, that's my little dog right there howling. She wants my dad, who's not here right now. Hopefully I can, hold on. Let me close this up. Before we go into the men's, I'm going to close the door so that we don't hear the dog. Okay, I'm back. And as I tumble down one of my cameras, I am shooting this for a video that'll be out a little later on. I want to thank again SaltStick and Bonk Breaker and Longevity Wellness for coming on board. With this, we're going to be moving on to the men's race here in a minute. And what'd you go? Does Laura get 97 overall? And yeah, I wondered that myself when I was looking at that. She gets a 97% overall. Laura Phillips, let me drop that, show this up on the screen here. Joe says, how does Laura get 97% overall when all the other qualities are less than 97%? That one got a good question. That's a question for the people at the PTO to handle. That's why Laura Phillips fell off. I don't think she's got what it takes to to do this thing and to win it. So let's get back to where we were. So yeah. So where are we at here? All right, so we want to thank SaltStick, Bonk Breaker, and Longevity Wellness. Remember, we're having a contest. If you guys want to get in on the contest, we're going to give away 2 bottles of SaltStick Chews, supplied by SaltStick right there, to anyone who hits the top 5 in either the men's or the women's in order. We'll get 2 bottles of SaltStick Chews, and if you get both of them correct, you're going to get a extra box of Bonk Breaker product. It's either going to be the bars or the chews, and we want to thank them for bringing that on board. To enter, what you're going to do is you're going to put your guesses in the comments, either if you're on our Facebook or if you're on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, put them in the comments. If you're on Facebook, drop them in the comments there and put your email address on board, and I will put you into the contest. And if you win, we'll contact you by email, and you will be added to my email list, and you'll be able to unsubscribe from that at the first email if you choose to do so. This is not a sponsored by YouTube event at all. I'm getting no monetary compensation whatsoever from Bonk Breaker or SaltStick. They're just supplying the product that you guys have a chance at winning. Also, I want to tell you, if you like what you see, give me a thumbs up, drop down below. It helps to spread the word. Subscribe if you need, and if you want to back the channel and help me with getting more and better cameras and gear and just putting out a better product for you, you can go to patreon.com/Coach John and become a patron. Costs $5 a month. All right, let's move on. Get all that out of the way. It's time to move on and talk about the men's race. Now, moving again, we're going to go the same way. We're going to drop to the bottom of the. We're going to drop to the bottom of the top 10. Work our way up, putting the different athletes in order on the screen. Get rid of the women's race there, and we're going to do the exact same thing we just did with the women, with the men's race, and see where my top 5 will be. So we're going to start right now with Daniel Baekkegard. Daniel Baekkegard is he's been making a splash in the world of triathlon. He has been a climbing star. He's at number 9 in the world's ranking. He's only 26 years old. He's one of the young guys. Again, he's a strong swimmer. He's going to be at the front of the swim, possibly leading out the swim or being at that front group of swim for sure. He's going to hang on for the bike ride. Coming in off the bike in the lead or the second pack, and then is going to struggle on the run. These guys, there's just some better runners out there. As he grows, he'll get stronger, but this year we'll see how he ends up. But we're going to drop him in right now. We're going to put him in our number 1 slot and see how Daniel works his way through the field. The next person on our list is Sam Laidlow. Sam Laidlow, he's number 8 in the world. Is he going to do anything at Kona? I truly don't expect him to do anything at Kona. I see tons of DNFs on his list. He is a top 10er all the way. He has Ironman England. He did come in second in 2021, but we saw him and when he was jawing with Sam Long and Lionel Sanders, how he was going to beat them and how he blew up. He has a tendency to blow up. I just actually don't think Sam Laidlow is going to be an issue at all for anybody at the Ironman World Championships. All right, let's moving on now. We're dropping him in the second slot. Well, he won't be there for long. Um, Next person, Florian Arnay. Florian, the German, he is coming in. Again, he is going to be leading out of the water. He's going to be one at the front of the pack. We've seen that over and over again. And then he's going to ride right up there at with the leaders on the bike. He is one of what we call an Uber biker, but again, he's going to struggle on the run. I see him not really being a big threat for the podium, maybe top 5. We'll see how he falls, and probably a little more toward the area of the lower part of the top 10. But right now, we're going to see where we're going to drop him in. I'm going to drop him I dropped him below Sam Laidlow. I meant to put him above Sam Laidlow, but that's all right. Now we go on and we're going to move on up. We go through a couple of people who are not going to be there. Unfortunately, we got injury to one and just not racing for the other one. And then we're going to jump right up. And the next person on our list is the vulnerable and strong and just overall interesting guy called Lionel Sanders. Lionel Sanders, we saw him do something at St. George. He changed from his tri kit into his running clothes and ran himself all the way up to second place. That comfort level, will he do that again? We'll have to see. But the one thing about Lionel, he's always digging himself out of a hole. He is in a hole, coming out of the water, next to last. He's trailing so far behind. He'll be 7 or 8, 9, maybe 10 minutes behind the leaders coming out of the water, which means he's going to have to lay down the power on the bike. Yeah, he's an Uber biker. He's probably the best or one of the best cyclists in the pro field. He will just knock off people left and right all the way up through the field till he gets off, and we'll see how much leg he has left after he has to push himself that hard through this strong a field. I think this is a stronger field. I feel like this is a stronger field than St. George had on a track on a course that is more well known to the racers on it. Again, Sanders is a strong runner. He will work his way through most of the field on the bike, and then we'll get off and run the rest of the way through up into the top 5. Where he lands, we'll have to see. But at this point right now, Lionel's the man. He's going to jump up right into our number 1 spot. He is our leader for the 4 that we've already gone through. And we'll have to see where, like I say, where he falls. Now, the next guy here, I'll tell you what. He came to my attention last season a little bit. He really put down a bunch of races last year to work himself up and learn and become a much better racer. At 24 years old, this guy right here, Magnus Ditlev, guys, he is the package. He is the future. He is a guy who 10 years from now, we're going to be talking about Magnus Ditlev and his 2 or 3 or 4 Ironman World Championships if he can stay healthy. This kid is I'm excited about him. I'm really, really excited about Magnus. He's going to come out of the water at the pointy end of the pro field. He won't be swimming right with the guys coming out right at the front, but he will be at the pointy end of the main pack, the chase pack. Then he is an Uber biker. He'll get out there and he will ride with the best of them. He will hook up with whoever's strong in the middle of that field and work their way up to the front, get off the bike, and then the experience. Does he have the experience? Has he learned what it's going to take to win, to podium at the Ironman World Championships? He won Roth. Okay, so he can race in the big races. He has won Roth, so we'll have to see. He's a 99% overaller. He's number 2 in the world right now. Actually, I printed these out. He's actually ranked number 3 in the world right now, but I printed these out before the last rankings came. So we're going to see Magnus Ditlev right now. I'm going to put him ahead of Lionel Sanders. I'm going to say that he's learned enough and he's savvy enough at his age to put himself in a position to race with the big boys, with the top guns. But speaking of the top guns, we're not going there yet. There's more. We're going to go to our wild cards. There's several wild cards in the men's field I want to talk about. And the first one being Joe Skipper. Joe Skipper is a very, very, very strong racer. Again, he's one of these guys who's going to be pretty far back in the swim. He'll be at the back of the chase pack, if not dangling off the back a little bit. Get on the bike and just hang with the pack. He's not going to do anything on the bike. He's not going to make any massive moves. He's not going to come crashing to the front. He will hang on for his specialty, the run, one of the fastest runners in the field. We're going to see Joe Skipper run his way up into, boom, I'm dropping him in at the number 3 spot so far. I'm thinking he's going to be able to run himself back past LAIDLOW, back a guard, and get himself up toward the front of the field, possibly a podium, possibly top 5 finish. Our next wild card I want to look at is the vulnerable and experienced former number 2 at Kona, Ben Hoffman. Ben's getting up there. He's 39 years old. Does he have another Ironman, strong Ironman in him? He proved that earlier this year when he went out there and he won Ironman Texas in a very, very difficult race with a lot of wind, a lot of heat, a lot of humidity, a lot like Kona. He's proved himself over and over to be able to race in the heat. This is a plus for him. A couple weeks after that, he went and raced St. George. I sat there and watched him talk about how winning this race, he's going to take that right into the World Championships, and he did exactly what I thought he would do. He had nothing, and he pulled off, but he still pulled off a top 10. I'm going to say that Ben Hoffman's going to put down a really, really, really good race and work himself up to where he's in contention for the top 5 spot. Right now, we're showing him after Detlev in the number 1 spot, Lionel Sanders in number 2, Big Ben in number 3, with Joe Skipper and Daniel Beckegaard taking our top 5 at this point. But still, there's more. We're going to work our way down here, and I'm going to bring up a guy that has absolutely been off the radar for a little while. He just really had some bad years. But now I'm going to tell you, Patrick Lange is back, number 2 at Challenge Roth. He's running good. He is one of the stronger runners. He will be on the swim again, mid-pack, on the bike. He is going to hang on the bike, hopefully be able to get off the bike and run his way up through the field as he's done over and over and over again. And even as a former world champion, I think Patrick Lange is going to be a real contender this year. And he's dropping in right now at the number 2 spot. Yeah, I actually think that Patrick Lange is in a position health-wise and conditioning-wise where he's going to put himself into the chance at a podium. Now, our next one is a sentimental favorite of mine. I'm throwing him in there because I think he's got one more left in him. Tim O'Donnell, T.O. guy, if you see this, I am rooting for you. I am hoping that you can come back from everything that's happened, that's going on. And I want to see you with Izzy at that crossing that finish line. And Finn, I want to see you guys just that happy family photograph crossing the finish line of Ironman Kona. Again, we're going to see him. He's going to be mid-pack on the swim. He's going to be mid-pack on the bike, and he is going to be strong. Maybe not as fast as he once was, but he's going to put together a really strong ride. And at this point right now, he's dropping in to the number 5 spot. We got Magnus, we got Patrick, we got Lionel, we got Hoff, and T.O. Rounding out the top 5, except for the 2 elephants that are not in the room yet. Yep, the Norwegians. These guys have proven over and over again that they are the class of the field. They are a step above. Our first one coming in the number 2 spot in the rankings. He was number 3 at the time. is Gustav Iden. Gustav was not able to compete at St. George because of illness. These guys know their body. They know what they can do. They train together. But we've seen him take the PTO Canadian Open, a win there, beating Blumenfeld in that race. We saw him in the Collins Cup, close to Blumenfeld there. We saw him win the Challenge Family Championship. Ironman Florida took the win there in 7:48 at the time. His first ever Ironman race. Sorry, 7:42 is what he took. 7:42 is the race there, and at the time, one of the fastest ever. We're going to see Gustav set the world on fire, guys. I'm just going to say that I think this kid, he's coming in at 26 years old. He is in shape. He is experienced. He is smart. He has got everything going for him. He knows his competition inside, outside, and upside down. I'm going to drop Gustav Iden in right now in the number 1 spot. Magnus is 2. Hoff is or Patrick Longa, Lionel Sanders, and actually that should be Ben Hoffman right there. I guess I made a little boo-boo on my graphics, but Tim O'Donnell is actually supposed to be off the list, but that's where I'm putting Gustav Iden. But then we have the man himself. This guy wants to be the GOAT. Is he the GOAT? No. He wants to be the GOAT. He's out after being the GOAT. He wants to do something no one has ever done before, and that's win the Olympics, win the Ironman World Championship, and then win another Ironman World Championship, and be the first person to win 2 Ironman World Championships at 2 different locations, 2 totally different types of racing conditions, 2 different types of racing circuits or racing venues. Blumenfeld, again, he is the guy. It's his race to lose. He is the man right now. He is going to be at the front of the swim. He is going to ride at the front of the lead pack. He may not be the fastest rider. There may be some riders that break away, get away from him, but he will be there. And then he's going to come in and he's going to put down a run that, watch this, guys, watch this. I don't think is going to cut it. I'm dropping Christian Blumenfeld in the number 3 hole. This is where I told you earlier when I said that I was going to go out on a limb. I'm going to go out on a limb. Blumenfeld's due for a bad race. Blumenfeld, I've seen him cramp. I've seen him have problems before. This is going to be a hot, windy race. Yeah, he's great. He is spectacular. But I'm calling it. I'm calling Blumenfeld not to win the race. Come in 3rd. Our new Ironman World Champion, in my personal opinion, is going to be Gustav Iden, with number 2, Magnus Detlev, who will be the future, Christian Blumenfeld, Patrick Longa having a great comeback, Lionel Sanders going to be in that top 5. Longa Sanders could go either way. Blumenfeld could have a great race and win the whole thing, dropping Iden and Detlev down. Lionel Sanders could put together an amazing race because he is trained by the same guys as Iden and Blumenfeld. We could see honestly, we could see any combination. I think of these 5 guys. We could see Blumenfeld, Iden, Sanders. We could see Detlev, Iden, Blumenfeld. We could see any of those combinations right there as the top 5. But this is my choices: Iden, Detlev, Blumenfeld, Longa, Sanders. Remember, in the comments below, make sure you drop your top 5 in there with your email address. And if you pick them right, you will get 2 bottles of SaltStick electrolyte chews. And if you get both men's and women's right, you get an extra box of Bonk Breaker on board. Thank you very much for showing up, guys. I want to tell you, if you've gotten value from this, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, throw me a bone, help me out with the channel, patreon.com/Coach John. Only $5 a month to join. That will help me along the way. Take a look at the video that I have right here. It's called Bear Claw Climb. If you want to have a race that's definitely one that you want to be able to brag about in the future, go to Ironman Blue Ridge in Virginia. This is Coach John. Boom. Thank you for coming. I'm out.